You are all upset.
Oh, it's all right.
I don't think I can practice today, Mr. Kolenkov.
Oh, well,
But do stay for dinner, Mr. Kolenkov. We've got all that food out there and somebody's got to eat it.
I will be delighted to, Madame Sycamore. Now, I wonder if I know you well enough to ask of you a great favor.
Oh, well, of course. What is it?
You remember my talking of my good friend, the Duchess Olga Katrina?
Oh, yes.
She is a great woman, the Duchess. Her cousin was the Tsar of Russia. And today she is a waitress in Child's restaurant. Times Square.
Well, Mr. Kolenkov, if there's anything we can do.
I tell you, today is not only her day off, Thursday, but it is also the anniversary of Peter the Great, a remarkable man.
Oh, Mr. Kolenkov, if you mean you'd like us to have her for dinner, why, we'd be delighted.
On behalf of the Grand Duchess, I thank you.
Oh, I can't wait to meet her. Where is she now?
She's outside, bathing in the street. Oh, I go get her.
Ed, you're tight. Essie, you're dressed. How do I look? Do I look all right?
This keeps on, I'm gonna live to be 150.
Oh.
The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. Your Highness, may I present Madame Sycamore?
How do you do?
Madame Carmichael. Grandpa. Mr. Carmichael.
Howdy, Your Majesty.
Mr. Sycamore.
Hiya.
Mr. DePina.
Come on, Mr. DePina.
Will you please have a seat, Your Highness?
Thank you, you're most kind.
We're most honored to meet you, Your Highness.
I am most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Very, very soon, Your Highness.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you are on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Kolenkov.
You know, Highness, I think you waited on me in Child's once, the 72nd Street place.
No, that was my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha!
Ivan, in Times Square.
There's a lot of you folks over here now, aren't there?
Oh yes, many. My uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei. He is an elevator man at Macy's. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works at Hattie Carnegie. He is in ladies' underwear.
When he was selling hot dogs on Coney Island, he would talk to you.
Kolenkov, our time is coming. My sister Natasha is studying to be a manicurist. Uncle Sergei, they have promised to make floor walker. And next month, I get transferred to Fifth Avenue's Child's. From there, it is only a step to Stratz, and then we will see what Prince Alexis has to say.
I think you got him.
You're telling me?
Your Highness. Did you know the Tsar? Personally, I mean.
Of course. He was my cousin. It is a shame what happened to him, but perhaps it was for the best. Where could he get a job now?
Pravda, that is true.
Yes. And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same for every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, was very nice to us for about 10 years. Every now and then he would send a money order, but then he said, I just cannot go on. I am not doing so well myself. I do not blame him. Yes.
Excuse me, Your Highness. Oh, excuse me.
Tell me, Grand Duchess, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin. Yes, my dear sir, it is true. And how?
You don't say.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time.
Oh yes, I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He is a communist.
We'll make sure that everything is going to be ready. Essie, why don't you go to the kitchen and help Viva?
Okay, I will help too. I'm a very good cook.
Oh, but Your Highness, not on your day off.
I do not mind. Where is your kitchen?
Well, it's over this way, but Your Highness, you're the guest.
But I love to cook. Come, Kolenkov. If they've got sour cream and patches, I will make you some blintzes.
Blintzes! Come down, Lola. We show you something.
Say,
The Duchess is alright, isn't she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
gee, she's got a wonderful face for a mask, doesn't she?
Well, she's really a wonderful woman, considering she's the Grand Duchess.
It's wonderful what some people go through, isn't it? And still keep kind of gay, too.
Well, she made me, forget things for a while.
Better call that cab, I suppose.
Oh, no, Paul. They're here.
Ed, will you go upstairs and bring my bag down?
Don't you do it, Ed.
Ed, please!
Okay, Ed, bring it down. You know something? You have the most stubborn daughter out of all 48 states.
Oh, let us get a cab.
Well, if it is, it must be a wonderful service.
Is Tony here, Alice?
Hello, Mr. Kirby. Yes, come in.
How do you do?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Forgive my intruding. Tony, I want you to come home with me. Your mother is very upset.
Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Goodbye, Tony.
I need hardly say that this is as painful for Mrs. Kirby and myself as it is for you people. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand.
Yes, but in a way, no. No, I'm not the kind of person who tries to run other people's lives. But, Mr. Kirby, these two young people, they haven't got as much sense as you and I have.
Grandpa, please
Now,
don't.
just talking to Mr. Kirby, a cat can look at a king, can he?
You want me to do that for you, Alice?
No, Mother.
You've got quite a while before the train goes, Alice.
Yes, will you send a cab right away to 761 Claremont? Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Oh, Alice.
Father.
Are you ready, Tony?
Now, Mr. Kirby, after last night, you must think this family's pretty crazy.
No, I would not say that, although I'm not accustomed to going out to dinner and spending the night in jail.
I know, but remember, you came on the wrong night. Now, tonight, I'll bet you nothing had happened at all, maybe.
Mr. Vanderhoff, it was not merely last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and myself that this engagement was unwise.
I can handle my own affairs, Father. And for the last time, Alice, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know what your father means. It will never work.
Yes, it will.
Now, Alice, you're in love with this boy. And you're not going to marry him because we're the kind of people we are? Now, I know you think the two families won't get along, and maybe they won't, but who's to say that they're right and we're wrong?
I didn't say that. I only feel...
I know I feel that Tony is too nice a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes. Mixed up and unhappy the way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff. I'm a very happy man.
Are you?
Certainly I am.
I don't think so. What do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir. You get it because most of your time is spent doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Yes, you do. Yesterday, last night, you even told me that after a week in Wall Street, you feel pretty near crazy. Why do you keep on doing it?
Why do I give? Why? Because it's my business. A man can't just give up his business.
Why not? You have all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
That's a very easy thing to say, Mr. Vanderhoff. But I've spent my entire life building up my business.
And what's it got you? Same mail every morning, same deals, same dinner at night, same indigestion. Where does the fun come in? Don't you think there ought to be something more, Mr. Kirby? Surely you wanted more than that when you first started out. We haven't got much time, Mr. Kirby. Any of us.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Live the way you do nothing?
Well, I have a lot of fun. Time enough for everything. Read, talk, go to the zoo now and then, collect stamps. I even have time to notice when spring comes around and I don't see anybody I don't want to. And I don't have 6 hours of things that I have to do every day before I get 1 hour to do what I like in. And I haven't taken bicarbonated soda in 35 years. What's the matter with that?
The matter with that? Well, suppose we all did it. A fine world we'd have, everybody going to the zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
There's always people who like to work. You can't stop them. Inventions, they fly the ocean. There's even people that like to go down to Wall Street because they like it. But from what I've seen, Mr. Kirby, you're not one of them. I think you're missing something.
I'm not aware of missing anything.
Neither was I until I quit. I used to get out of the office 9 o'clock sharp, no matter how I felt. I'd lay awake at nights for fear that I wouldn't get that contract. I used to worry about the world, too. Always worried, would Blaine or Cleveland get elected president? It seemed so important at the time, and who cares now? What I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is I've got 35 years that no one can take away from me. No matter what they do to the world. See?
Well, yes, I do see. And it's a very dangerous philosophy, Mr. Vanderhoff. It's un-American, and it's exactly why I'm opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony to come under its influence.
Oh, what's the matter with it, Father?
The matter with it? Why? Well, it's downright communism. That's what it is.
Well, you didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so, because there was a time when you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Why? Don't be an idiot, Tony.
Oh, yes, you did. I came across those letters you wrote to Grandfather. Do you remember those?
No, How dare you read those letters? How dared you?
Why, that's wonderful. Did you wear tights, Mr. Kirby?
Certainly not. The whole thing is absurd. I was 14 years old at the
Ah,
time.
yes, but at 18, you wanted to be a saxophone player, didn't you?
Oh, me?
And at 21, you ran away from home because Grandfather wanted you to go into the family business. It's all down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
I may have had some silly notions in my youth, but thank God my father knocked them out of me. I went into the business and forgot about them.
Not entirely, Father. You still have a saxophone in the back of your clothes closet.
There it is! That's enough, Tony. We'll discuss this later.
Oh, I want to talk about it now. And I think Mr. Vanderhoff is right. Ha! Dead right. I'm not going back to that office. I've always hated it, and I'm not going along with it. And I'll tell you something else, too. I didn't make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night, but I brought you here on purpose. Because I wanted you to wake up and see a real family, as they really were. A family that loves and understands each other. You never understood me. You never had time. Well, I'm not going to make your mistake. I'm clearing out.
Clearing out? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not going to be pushed into the business just because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
Tony, what are you going to do?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer. But at least it'll be something I want to do.
Oh, that must be the cab.
Ask him to wait a minute, Ed. Now, Mr. Kirby, Tony's going through the same thing you and I did when we were his age. If you listen hard enough, you can hear yourself say the same thing to your father 25 years ago. We all did it, and we were right. How many of us would settle, when we're young, for what we eventually get? All those plans we made, what happens to them? It's only a handful of the lucky ones that can look back and say they even came close. Mr. Kirby, before they clean up that closet, I'd get a few good hours on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon. The
But before I make suggestions, how many will there be for dinner?
Your Highness, may I introduce to you Mr. Anthony Kirby and Mr. Kirby Jr.
Oh, well, how do you do?
Before I make suggestions, how many will there be for dinner?
Well, you better make a whole stack of them, Your Highness. You never can tell.
Very well. Pizarro has told me, Olga, do not be stingy with the blintzes.
Who did you say that was, Mr. Vanderhoff?
That's the Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. She's cooking dinner.
Oh.
And speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Oh, please do, Mr. Kirby. We've got all that food out there. I mean, from last night. I mean,
It's going to be a pretty good dinner, Mr. Kirby, and it'll give us a chance to get acquainted.
How about it, Father? We staying for dinner?
Why, if you'd care to, Tony, I'd like to very much.
Now, if Alice will just send away that cab, Mr. Vanderhoff.
How about it, Alice? It's going to be a nice crowd. Don't you think you ought to stay for dinner?
I'm staying, Alice. The families ought to get to know each other, don't you think?
Mr. Kirby, Tony! Oh, Grandpa!
I know, I'm wonderful.
well, let's have dinner.
Grandpa, I found a letter for you. It was in the icebox.
The government again.
Hello, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, hello.
Well, if you'd step into my office, Miss Sycamore, I'd like to do a little dictating.
I better sit away at the
Well. The government apologizes. I don't know him a nickel. Seems I've been dead 8 years.
What do they mean by that, Grandpa?
Oh, remember Charlie, the milkman, buried under my name? Well, I just told them they made a mistake and that I was Martin Vanderhoff Jr., and they said they're sorry, and I might even get a refund.
Oh, Grandpa, you're a crook.
Sure.
Pardon me, but how did you say you escaped the income tax, Mr. Vanderhoff?
My friends, tonight you will eat.
Hello there.
How do you do?
Fine. Glad to see you.
What has happened?
He's relaxing. That's it. Take something, Ed.
Well, you met someone that set you back on with you. Goody.
Dinner will be ready in a minute. You can sit down.
Oh, let's have dinner. Esther, stop dancing and come to dinner.
Oh, yes, I'm
You would like Russian food, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, but you must be careful with your indigestion.
Oh, nonsense, I haven't any indigestion.
How was that trip to the Adirondacks, Miss Sycamore?
Oh, shut your face, Mr. Kirby.
In Russia, when they sit down to the table for dinner, it is the time to converse with the... Quiet, everybody.
Well, sir, here we are again. And we want to thank you for all the wonderful things you've done for us. Things are going quite nicely. It looks like Alice is going to marry Tony. Of course, the fireworks blew up, but that was Mr. DePina's fault, not yours. And we have our health, and as far as everything else is concerned, we leave that up to you.
Thank you. Grandpa, I have had another letter from my friend in Russia. He has escaped again.
Save a stack for me.
Oh, Mr. Kirby, do you like roast goose for dinner?
I like it, it's my favorite dish.
I like it.
Mr. Kirby, I need to dance for you later. I have to show you my new mazurka.
I've written special music for it.
Tell me, Mr. Kirby, what do you think of the Securities Commission?
Mr. DePina, we better get ready for next year's fireworks.
Well, there goes the Adirondacks.
And a very good thing, too.